Welcome to this presentation on Gradescope. I'm really happy you're here because I think Gradescope can make a difference in your job as professors. My name is Courtney and I'm an instructional designer at CSU Long Beach as a part of the ATS department. If you have any questions throughout the presentation, please jot them down and draft an email to the ATS department. At the end of the presentation, I will post the email address for you. In this presentation, we'll go over the tool known as Gradescope, which is integrated with Beachboard for a more seamless experience. First, let's go over the agenda. In this presentation, we will cover what is Gradescope. It's easy to add Gradescope to your course, types of assignments to use with Gradescope, how Gradescope makes grading faster and more consistent, and there will be time for you to see where to send your questions. Alright, so what is Gradescope? A very straightforward definition you're already familiar with is it's software that helps you grade faster and more consistently while generating useful information for teaching and learning. It does not grade for you. Alright, now I'm going to go ahead and take you through a short demo using the software Gradescope. So this is our ATS page, and you can see here that you can click and get this interest form in order to get a meeting with any instructional designer who can further take you through this course. We have our training resources here, how to get started in Beachboard. These are really important how-to steps to help you with getting started in Beachboard and setting up your account. Creating assignments in Gradescope, grading and feedback, reviewing grades. Really, you have so many options here. Let's go into Beachboard. Here you can see I've already created a Gradescope link. Already twice you're gonna see as I scroll below. I'm gonna go ahead and show you how to add a module for Gradescope. So I'm just gonna type in Gradescope here. I'm gonna go to Add Existing Activities, External Learning Tools. And this will open up a plethora of options where I'll scroll down to find Gradescope. And here you see Gradescope is my external learning tool, so I can click on it to see its features and how it acts in here. This is my dashboard, kind of acts the same as any other dashboard. Assignments, I can create assignments. Roster, I can link my Brightspace roster, which is amazing, where all my students' names from Beachboard will go automatically into here. I can return to dashboard, and there's tons more features that I can play with here on Gradescope. So just a reminder, if you do want to set up a meeting with an instructional designer, you can click on this Gradescope interest form and we're happy to meet with you. Since it's a grading software, let's go ahead and talk about what kinds of assessments it supports. One quick rule is that if you can use a rubric on the assessment, you can definitely use Gradescope. Gradescope supports open response types, which we'll focus on in this presentation, as well as other kinds. You can choose to use Gradescope for formal assessments or summative assessments. You can use this for paper documents in which students take pictures of to scan or upload, as well as a multiple choice automatic grader. There's truly a wide variety of options to use in Gradescope. It will just depend on the type of content that is for each course. So I'm going to contrast two types of options that you would do. So first is your multiple choice assessment. Its advantage is that it's quick and easy to grade. However, the disadvantage is that it's hard for you to know what the student's thought process was in order to arrive at their answers. So there's very little feedback you can provide. On the other side, you can have an open response assessment, and the disadvantage for that is it takes a lot longer to grade, but the advantage, of course, is you can see how a student arrived to their thought process. Alright, here I would like to explain to you how Gradescope can actually speed up your grading. There are two options we're going to go over: horizontal grading and/or automatic totaling of scores. It's your choice. First, horizontal grading. Gradescope really makes horizontal grading really easy. Horizontal grading is when you grade one question for all students prior to moving on to another question. A lot of faculty like to do horizontal grading because it's easy to sort of get in the zone. When you're grading the exact same things, you tend to do it quicker. You know how you want to respond. And a great feature of Gradescope is you can actually provide the same exact response to multiple students because it hyper saves. Typically, students do make similar mistakes to other students. So it provides a nice goal. A lot of the time, I want to grade one question and then I'm going to take a break or have lunch, and I'm motivated to return because I know I only have one question left for all of my students. Hopefully that makes sense. The amazing thing about Gradescope is the automatic totaling of scores, which really speeds up the process. You can see in the left-hand corner of the screen in the red circle the entire score of the exam, but as we look on the next slide, you'll see it's even possible to break it down into category, genre, or this really helps for learning objectives. You can see here that the 1.1 and 1.2 questions were totaled as the kind of calculus portion of this test, and the same would be true if this were a calculus only test and it had different types of objectives a student was trying to meet. But in this case, we see calculus and geography, and you can see where the student is performing well and where the student is not performing well. Consistency. Of course, when grading, it's hard to stay consistent. It's only human of us. One thing that Gradescope really helps with is enhancing our consistency amongst different students in the same course or even with different professors of the same course. You can see here in this slide that this same exact question might have been graded by more than one professor, but because they're both using the same features in Gradescope, there is a level of consistency with the grading, which is a great help to serve as being fair and equitable when grading for all students. Some other advantages of going digital with your grading is that it's easy to keep track of everything, including with grading in teams. And also, it can be used for any modality. It can still be useful for face-to-face, online learning, hybrid learning, synchronous, asynchronous portions, whatever it is that you're serving this semester, it can help make it easier for you. No more messy papers, no more losing files, it's all right here. As I geek out on grading with you, I want to tell you about some of my favorite features of this. 1, using the same comment twice. Students always make the same mistake. 2, students can take pictures that show up as like a scanned PDF document. And 3, you can comment on a specific location of the question, depending on what you're doing, of course, but you can tag that spot where they went wrong and comment there. So this is an automated video, and how do you ask any questions? There's so many ways to ask questions. First, I want to make sure you know you could go back to the CSU LB Gradescope webpage and find the roadmap there. You can also email Gradescope or the ATS instructional design team at either of these emails. Please pause the video if you need to look at these resources for longer. They're of great help to you. Thanks so much for keeping up with the times and learning here with me today. Here's some of the works cited resources where I got the information, and thank you again. It's been my pleasure to create this learning experience for you.